month meeting of the Board of Commissioners, South Lafourche, knock up the budget. Larry, oh, excuse me, thank you, Lee. Mr. Chair, will you do this pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, American.
Ronald Polly.
Here.
Clarence Morris.
Here.
Rich Reynolds.
Here.
Roland Hero. Roland Hero. Roland Guidry.
Here.
Bob Paul. And Daily Rome.
Here.
Keith Guidry.
Here.
Monty Vegas.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Okay, he's been provided with copy of the minutes for the last meeting and corrections, additions, and deletions for the meeting as presented. Moved by Bob, seconded by Rose. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, I have nothing to report on the president's report. Anybody here in the audience for the purpose of addressing the board? Anybody in the audience? Okay, we'll move on to the general manager's report.
Yeah, WSUTV came down and did some report, and they did some video, some drone work. So they did kind of good job. They did a couple things we had. So they kind of go through that. Yeah, that's Catfish Lake, you know, broke it out. There's some of the work for the Ducks Unlimited, Concord Phillips, CPRE, and also the parish money doing some work right here with some containment dikes. Now, those are some of the other terraces that were done. Here's where we're basically a little bit south of where the heliport is, you know, at the back. And I'm barking out, okay, this is at +1, all right? This over here is, this is at -6.5. This is at oftentimes half a foot to +1. The terraces that were made a couple of years ago, they're going out really well. Catfish Lake is to the left. There's some containment. They're going to do a nice marsh project here, and then we think there will be some stuff left over, and they'll pump between the containment dike and the edge of the levee, so we should get just a total marsh closure up here. But again, these terraces help break some of the wave action coming over here that should continue to work well. The land over here is around a -3, -4, you know. And here we've raised the levee in the ballpark to 17 to 18 feet on this side.
Looks like crop circles, man. Aliens.
Yeah.
Small.
Well, we need some more than millions to show up, because we still got a few more open areas we need some crop circles.
Go Wendell.
They say go Wendell.
Yeah, they got creative with the design.
SLD.
Now again, we're looking south, and here, this is where they're doing the, that job from Catfish Lake, they'll be pumping into this area. But it's a little bit further south over here. This is the marsh that we made in 2010, that was a SEAP line over here. Turned out to be a really nice marsh. Here's Golden Meadow. We came back at the same place, and then we'll fall a little bit. Yeah, put it into work. Catfish Lake, we're Golden Meadow. That's the marsh we did. Here's the park in Golden Meadow back over here. And again, not very, so we're gonna look at some of these oil banks to help be the separation between Catfish Lake and the edge of the levee. We just have some little strips of marsh over here. Maybe the same area. Same area. And this is the work going on at the lock with the 32, with LA1, the elevation of LA1. And I took some pictures this morning. You can see the progress they've done. They've gone, but here they are. Here's the lock over here with the floodgate. Here's the 16-foot elevation we built here. There's a sheet pile coming here. We're gonna actually have concrete walls up to about 18 feet here. This is where the gate's gonna sit, and it's closed, and it's gonna be in this direction here when it's when it's open. This was filled in with concrete. You'll see those pictures later. Now the big issue is we're gonna make sure that this doesn't have is compacted faster than here, because this is solid. It's not moving. This will move a little bit. The highway department made us take the first few years of compaction. We're gonna have to make repairs instead of them. That wasn't a good deal, but that was the only way they give us the permit. Just outside the floodgate, nice, that's this marsh here, but of course it used to be a tree line. You can see some of the dead trees over there, skeleton trees. There is a project that CPR is doing that's looking at filling in some of these areas here, which would be real good. One going south. Here we have most of the levee close to 17 to 18 feet. This is the loop T wall, and that's at 17 feet. Our levee is slightly above it on the southern part. And that's the lockout that are both going through. Came in through here, they pulled this one, that opened out. That's it. I'll put a couple of slides, looking at what's happening with the river, because a lot of people asking about, oh, this is kind of interesting. We've got an eagle on top of the levee. This happens more often than you would think. That's what I realized, why is an eagle on top of our levee? Well, the levee's getting to 18 feet. That's almost the height of some trees. So it's high enough to see the fish. All the issues talking about the river and what it's done this year. But this is where you start the action of getting water down the Chapelaya. Here's the Mississippi River coming south. You had the overbank structure and the low sill was built, I think back in the 60s, if I remember correctly. After 73, they had this wall, this guide wall actually collapsed, and there was actually a connection between the outside and the inside. The Corps put boulders down there and they got whipped through. They almost lost the structure. It was shaky. And if it would have gone, they would have to wait till the river would have started in that direction and have to wait till the river got low again before they could repair it and get it back in place. So they came in later and built this auxiliary structure so that if they wanted to, they couldn't, not to have the flow to be too fast over here, too much water, they could come back over here and get more water out without putting stress at this location. So here's the water going by, and then they were lowering it and getting water here. And then, of course, when things are really bad, and they're thinking New Orleans might be threatened, then they open Morganza. And Morganza's a few miles south of here, okay? Right, here's the old river control structure, there's a chapter line. The opening in Morgan City, I think, is 1,200 feet wide, okay? And I was talking to the guy in charge of chapter line, Levee, and there's just too much water coming in, and they're afraid, of course, that their levees are gonna have a problem. And not enough opening coming out. I was talking to him, he says, look, we need to open the wax lake outlet more to match more what's coming in from the top. But Morganza's coming in from somewhere over here, and you can see the silt showing itself. Here's Bonnie Carey showing the silt coming here. Here's the chapter line, the silt showing itself. And basically, this was how the South Louisiana was built. But again, the big concern is that it's a lot shorter than the Gulf of Mexico, and to sea level, traveling this distance, and then almost twice the distance. So if it starts going here, this is where it naturally would want to go at more velocity. And this is about Fisk. What was interesting, he's the one who first said that the Mississippi River changed course. And of course, this is one of the diagrams that they used, some of the core boards. Here's Fisk, 1944. I was lucky enough to hear a talk from Dr. LeBlanc, who was actually on Fisk's team as a student worker at the time, a student researcher. And he told me how they he gave a talk to this group that was in, how they figured out that the river changed course. And that's what led to all of this idea of trying to keep the river in its channel. Then here's a schematic. The width, in 2 dimensions, they're showing how much water comes from these certain areas, of course. So it's a schematic showing that. And what it's showing is the upper Mississippi. Remember that, the floods in '93, terrible flooding in the upper Mississippi? It hardly puts anything into the lower Mississippi. If this floods terribly, you're not going to feel it in yours. But when you look at the Ohio River, right there, I think reading numbers right now, but it's in the 200,000, and this is like 2 million cubic feet per second. So this is where, when it rains in the Ohio Valley, and here you see the Tennessee River over here, coming in here, that's when we have a problem down here. And then as the water comes down, here's Arkansas River gets all the flooding in Arkansas being added. So here's this big chunk of water. And now from this point on, the goal is to not let it get to New Orleans. You see they reduce the flows to less than half by the time you get to New Orleans. And so this is where, how do you get rid of that water from getting to New Orleans? Bonnie Carey, but order control structure, and Morganza. And when they think, Morganza is the last one to the flood that they pull. And when they think it's ready, that they need to keep New Orleans from flooding in the lower Mississippi, that's when they open this up and send more water down into this area. Now, we've got to be 45 miles from the opening at Morgan City, so by the Lafourche Ridge. The odds of it affecting us in a major way, I think, are very slim. A few years ago, in 2011, the Corps had said that the Lafourche Ridge might see 5 to 10 foot of elevation of water if they opened Morganza and it kept coming up. And that 40 miles, the banks of the coast can't be much more than 3 feet at the most, and you have a lot of other big openings. So even if you get all kinds of total water coming through the chapter line, I do not believe it's going to affect our ridge and with the levee elevations that we have. Now, Terrebonne is another story. Western Terrebonne for sure. Any y'all got any comments on that, Reggie? Mitch?
No.
What the effects would be in Western Terrebonne?
2011, if you remember, was a drop, so we were building levees to hold back fresh water, like you said, but.
Yeah, we were holding back water from going in fields that were in drought.
But
actually
the Bayou Chene temporary structure has been put again by St. Mary Levee District. So that was done in 11 and 16 and now again in 19. And we saw a tremendous drop at our Bayou Black floodgate. You could see on the gauges when it came almost equal within 24 hours. And at the Bayou Chene structure, I think you have in 14 inches right now?
It's down to about 12 inches now, but it's been ranging from 12 to 14 inches of water we're holding back right now. And that's water that would flow from the Bayou Chene up to Stevensville and, you know, east through the intercoastal right now.
Yeah, come around the levee system.
Is that a permanent structure?
No, so there is, they have dedicated $80 million of state funds to build the structure, but it's not gonna be ready for 2 more years, so. Had that structure been in, had the permanent structure been in place, it would have been closed since January. So you'd have had a permanent closure. We've been at flood stage since early January.
How
in
much
Market
money
City.
have they spent on the 3 temporaries?
About 7.
Probably about 30 million total, I bet. You know, or knocking on it, you know, 25 million, something like that.
What's the worst y'all think, like in Houma? What's the worst y'all would expect in Houma if you had?
Well,
With or without Bayou Chain?
Well, I
Without
say
it?
without and then with.
I mean, in 2011,
They-
they predicted, the Corps modeled and predicted that we'd have 5 to 6 foot near the city of Houma.
And do you believe that?
No.
Okay.
Uh,
I didn't either. Okay.
It held back 3.5 feet. at
But
one
we know it held 3 feet back.
Yeah, but you could expect, instead
Well,
of
it's
5 or
the-
6,
I mean,
maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, like you
At
said,
the highest,
you're 40 miles,
yeah,
you're 40 miles away from
the opening.
the opening, right? And the land's at what, an average of 1?
Exactly.
So once it, I mean, if you can think of a river that would be 40 miles wide at that point, it's gonna disperse out,
Yeah.
you know?
And again, y'all don't have any strong, big enough bridges that would funnel or hold back that water all the way to home.
No.
You don't have that. So y'all wouldn't have that issue either.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is about the highest, other than a hurricane, that I've ever seen the water in the intercoastal in Houma.
And what is it right now?
I bet it got close to 3 feet at its worst, which is, I mean, that's, normal is 1,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's crazy high.
Yeah.
Now, last time in 2016, the temporary structure at Bayou Chain was closed for almost 6 months. So what you gotta understand, that means the Houma Navigational Canal acts as a drainage artery for everything from Lake Barrett Basin, all from Point Capiz south, so everything funnels through Houma, so the intercoastal is gonna be, even in the roads, will be kept artificially higher than normal until that reopens.
Yeah. And again, the only thing I would see it affecting us is closing the roads floodgate more. And of course, flooding, there wouldn't be any real issues on the south of the flooding issues. But, no, I know you talk about it a lot, and, I see some people television trying to talk about it, without a visual, it's hard to, you know, what's organic, what does it do? But I think with this, you gotta get an idea of where things are at and what it's supposed to do. Any questions or comments? Yeah.
During the, you talking about the old river structure, when they had all that problem, they had a reporter that drove on the structure and opened the car door, and he stood by the car door, he was afraid he had to get out pretty fast, and the car door closed by itself, then he left.
Yeah.
It's, I've been there during the operation of it, and it's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, that water is coming through there, and it's coming through there violently.
Yeah, and it's not supposed to vibrate. I think it was vibrating back in 73.
It was tumbling rocks big as Volkswagens,
Yeah.
that's how much pressure that river. Yeah.
Also in morning. Okay, we finally have the contract awarded to go ahead and enroll. We raised the gates themselves, 13. We've done the parapet wall, so now we've got the contractors come in and finally make the closure all the way to the levee. And we're gonna have a 13 closure, and of course, that's gonna happen on the other side too. Oh, here you go. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. It's gonna be somewhat what you see at the lock. At the same time, a sheet pile with A-frame support. And we're gonna have the gap walls completed at the walls and enclosure.
Now they're complete the lock.
Well, that's the next phase, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we would have that $72 million while you're staying, we could have had a lot less. Ain't that a shame? But, this is our siphon, the Yankee Canal and pump station number 4. We had brought this side, then we started getting more erosion over here, so we kind of finished it up over here, then we got our plastic sheet pile from then on. And just kind of showing what we need to do. We're getting very close. We had 3 pumps we yet to repair like we need to. And this is basically how it looks. Our guys have been doing a lot of this lately. It's all heavy stuff. Any little accident can actually kill somebody. They've been very good, very safe, no slight injuries, and we get, take it slow and easy, make sure we're doing it right, and they've been able to do that. This is heavy, this is big, but this is the new pump going in, or the repaired pump going in, I should say. And we think they're getting repaired right this time. We think we got at least 10 years of no problems and maybe more. And we've got to take the roof off every time and get it back in. Guys are doing a great job with it. We had an accident on the road, so this is the light that's supposed to be at the end over here. You can't control a lot of boats when it's over here. But that's what it's sitting on. Got a white towel, and we'll be looking for some insurance money to get it repaired. Also, to show this picture, we get into hurricane season. Here's LA1 on the levee looking toward Golden Meadow. This is how it looks. I turned 180 degrees and took this picture. I mean, if you can't see the difference between day and night, this is the difference the levee makes. This is inside, looking for Golden Meadow. I turned 180 degrees. This is the road LA1 going, and this road is underwater all the way to Lafourche and to Grand Island. And the road here is a foot to a foot and a half higher than LA1 is in Golden Meadow. Okay? And then just to kind of make you understand that without this, the levee is doing it, we would not have a dry land existence without it. Think about all the times Levee goes underwater. You can imagine, same thing in Golden Meadow, except the water would be a foot, 2 feet high. I want to show you, but for people to understand, this is kind of how it's going to look. The gate at LA1 is going to be just like this. It's going to be at the tower here, the road openings will be larger, and this is only to 13 feet. Of course, we're going to go to 18 feet at LA1. But there'll be a gate sitting on the pedestal. We'll close it when there's a need for a storm on the way. Now here's I'll show you, they put the concrete forward. I took this morning. So that's what the gate's going to sit on. So this is the tower that's going to kind of hold the gate and have support. Here's the other side. Here's looking kind of inside looking out. The middle is over here, and I'm at that corner looking at it. And this is it. It's the base going all the way across. This is the pedestal where the gate's going to come in. I'm standing this is a cross. This is the dirt. It's dry, it's prepared. Once they get this work done, they'll use this dirt to continue the levee to tie into it. So they're ready to go once they get the cement filled in. And this is on top of the cement slab looking south, and you can see LA1 right here. There's just a bypass going through. There's a bypass.
So that's why it goes straight?
Yeah, exactly. In fact, here I'm going on this side. Okay, so I'm signing over here. This is the middle between these two areas here. And again,
When it's
from here to here, the road's going to basically go straight from this side and get right at the bottom on the unprotected side. There's going to be a little bit of a turn, but that's going to be a big improvement. And again, we want to hurry up, get that slab in place, so that we don't have to think about how to close this whole area because of storm strain.
When is the completion date?
It was supposed to be middle of July, got delayed with some of the equipment, driving the sheet pile was not working properly. It looks like somewhere between August 1st and August 15th. The weather's been real cooperative, so hopefully they can catch up a little bit, making the pours when they need to. That's probably what's critical right now. This is the project that CPRA is doing on Apache Farm. And again, we've always felt it's a little bit of overkill, the way they just worked the heck out of this dirt back and forth. Here's the old levee that's sitting here. And, again, they tried this thing out, and got, you know, spent a lot of time and money on this thing. There was a problem that the contractor cannot do the work he was supposed to do because they pumped out some of the stuff in the canal that was on the inside of the farm out and said they had to take that off of all. So we paid money to put stuff up there. And they're forcing contractors kind of forcing CPRA. CPRA saying they're afraid the contractors are going to cause a problem if they don't get the stuff off so the contractor can do their work properly. So we worked with Terrebonne Levee and getting folks to them up and take the extra stuff off. But this is good stuff. Look, that's it right here. I mean, this is just clay. It's got a lot of organics in it. But look, you can see how well it dried up. And there's a cut. We're going all along from where the pump station just about to our level. But this is that material. I mean, this is great stuff. We shouldn't have to be dealing with it, but because of the issues with the CPRA and the contractor, they wanted to clear it all off. And so this is going to be the containment for the mitigation, the marsh mitigation that we're going to do over there. Again, that's the final piece, right, Stevie?
Yep.
This is the design. And I can't tell the difference between what was the original levee and the clay that was put on top. Yeah, this is right off of the levee. This is how it looked like. So, again, it's a little frustrating to have the same picture. Oh, this kind of talk about what our situation is. We don't start to think about it. This is a cross section of any part of our system. All right. Here's our levee over here on the west side. Our levee on the east side. My Lafourche going down the middle. We don't let it get higher than +1. The banks of the body go from +1 in Golden Meadow to +8 in the road. So I put +5 over here. Most of the houses are on that relative elevation. Okay. But then the land drops very quickly. And again, it goes back to my -4 over here. We maintain the market out at -6.5. Now with flood insurance, if the land that your house is on is above the base flood, if the land is above, we get preferred risk. We get great, nobody gets better yield than and that's most of the people. But if you're on a house that you have to, the land itself is below the base flood elevation, and you have to build the base flood elevation up, they don't give you the preferred risk. And we're trying to get that fixed because it's ridiculous. The bottom line is that the base flood is above, and you should get the credit, but the complexities of the flood insurance program don't allow everybody to get it. They all should. You know, we have not flooded since 1985, and the system the circle wasn't closed till 93. We haven't flooded since. But just understand what the system looks like. A lot of, don't realize that we're controlling the water in here with our floodgates. We closed the gate in La Rose, originally 20 times a year. Now we're having to close it over 250 times a year, just to keep water off of the road in Golden Meadow. And the Rose, the bank is 8 feet high. We don't need to close it for the road. We've got to close it for the Golden Meadow. But this is our situation. And now I mentioned flood insurance. They did pass a bill that they're going to go forward with it. Now, looking at the levee itself, okay, here's the unprotected side of the levee, all right, the flood side, +1. You got your levee coming over, and then we maintain a -6. You have a little support berm here. But really the trick on all of this, not to overthink it, but it's real simple. You got to figure out a certain height and how wide it has to be to stop water from seeping through. That's it. Everything else that we do is to help support that middle part. Not just the sheet piles are real thin area, okay? But the simplicity of it is when you're building a levee, you just need to protect that middle part. What you do on the other side is how do you support it, or what are the risks to have it supported. And we talked about this issue is that Hurricane levees have to hold the water back for maybe 12, 15 hours. Mississippi River levees have to hold the water back for months at a time. So when the Corps started doing river levees in 27, they started doing hurricane levees in 65. They just took the same design they had for river levees and they didn't change them at all for the hurricane levees. And that's part of the discussions that are actually taking place right now, but we're starting to see low cooperation with the Corps on those things. Again, just want to show basically how our approach is on those two different issues. Yeah, they're on board.
That was your kind of.
Yeah, but you know what? It's that simple. You know, why make something simple complicated? That's the core.
You recognize the tin project just like that. Plus you need a new couch.
Okay, hurricane season started. You know, usually we don't have anything serious till about August, and hopefully we'll have that gate in place. And that's the biggest change we're having for this hurricane season, is if that gate's in place and time, it's gonna make a big difference in us having a lot less to worry about and a lot stronger protection. High school baskets have done the job in a lot of areas, but we can't compare in strength to what a gate can do, steel gate, so that's gonna be a big improvement. And then rules 32, 35, we're gonna, tomorrow we'll do the exercise of closing that gap that we have to do on one lane, and so that will take place tomorrow. The LAMP pilot program, that's again for flood insurance. Instead of the Corps to approve it, as long as your engineers approve it, and FEMA looks at it and says, okay, well, it's okay. They've looked at our maps, and what I'm hearing is that they are gonna they're gonna approve what we say is good. And that's good, that means the insurance basically stays the same for us. Pump station number 4, overhead crane installation. Again, our people have been having to move engines using some kind of dangerous equipment, and we've been doing that for a lot of years. It's passed on to us to get the approval. We finally got the design, and we think, I'd like to get y'all to approve for us to do the work up to $60,000 to get that crane put in and all the adjustments on the pump station number 4.
Please have a recommendation of general manager to approve up to $60,000 for the crane at pump station number 4. No wishes. Moved by Rick, by Roll, and second by Roll. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, section E north, we have an area that's a little low. Been dealing with the people at Colby Farms, and Rick put together an agreement. We think that we're gonna get that pretty soon. Once we get that agreement, we can start working and get that area approved. So that's looking good. We had some delays with them earlier. They weren't too happy with our first suggestion. I think they're gonna go with this one, where we're basically gonna dig out their internal, the canal between the bayou and where their farm levee is. That borough canal, we just expand that borough canal. They're kind of okay with it. That's what we got to do. Another issue is the south. We have a low area from pump station number 4 to the Crawfish Pond pump station. That's where Schwest's farm is, where the Crawfish farm is. It's about 4 feet. I showed you the picture last time. And ConocoPhillips is working on that agreement. For the past 6 years, we've been talking to them, and they said, well, we can't give dirt away. And now the new group is coming in, and they say, we think we can give dirt away. So we think that's going to work out real well. And hopefully by next meeting, we'll have an agreement to sign. We've already approved, I just want to let you know, we are moving forward with the repairs of those 2 pumps we approved that last meeting. And we've got 1 pump in the queue. We're putting the bid out to get the quotes for the other 2 pumps. Okay, the cooperative endeavor agreement between Fairborn Levee, North Lafourche, South Lafourche, and its respect on the agreement that we're going to have with CPRE in responsibility of the operation and maintenance of the floodgate that's going in Grand Bayou. And I would suggest and ask that we approve executive committee meeting on Wednesday with our attorney to go through the details of that agreement.
Okay, we're asking us to call the executive committee the next Wednesday.
Right. And then what I'd like to do is call the meeting and have authorize the executive committee meeting to give you the right to sign any documents, signing these types of documents.
This
Whatever
Wednesday,
Wendell said.
this Wednesday,
This
this Wednesday,
Wednesday.
not
Wednesday,
next
yes.
Wednesday. Okay.
At 8:30.
Anything.
So you're calling a special, you will call a special executive meeting Wednesday morning. Okay, let me know which, move by Keith, second by Wilbur. Any discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carries.
Yeah, and then appropriate time, if you don't want to mention the, maybe, stuff about the agreement.
Well, this agreement, was originally drafted by Pat Almadita, attorney for North Lafourche Levee District, and then I put my fingerprints on it by adding about 2 pages of whereas on it. So what it basically does, this agreement is not just Grand Bayou, it's all of K&L. And Terrebonne and North Lafourche both recognize it reaches K&L between Pontchartrain and Cutoff, that North Lafourche and Terrebonne are a greater beneficiary of that section than South Lafourche. So basically what the agreement is in 2 parts for K&L. It says for, the state has requested that we act as a backstop to guarantee cost if there's any cost overrun. So each of the 2, North Lafourche and Terrebonne will be guaranteeing up to $750,000 each in the event there's additional change orders. So the state is putting up $18.5 million, which the engineering estimate is 17.1, and anything above that is estimated for construction management and for bidding and final design. All the design up till now was paid for from the original $12 million. So that's the backstop guarantee for pre-construction obligations. Post-construction, the way we put this agreement together, there will be an escrow fund, and Terrebonne and South Lafourche will be each putting up $40,000 annually. North Lafourche and Terrebonne each $40,000 into the escrow
Like, try to
fund.
slip it past us.
South Lafourche's obligation is gonna be the day-to-day maintenance and the emergency operations of the floodgate. You know, it says $10,000, but you get credit for that. The only thing additional, there's no out-of-pocket expenses for South Lafourche in this agreement. We're gonna clear the deck on that old agreement. We down to $30,000 that from 15 years ago. My auditors keep writing us up that we have to clear that up. So we're gonna clear that up.
Give us the money back then, you would have to work on your auditors.
Yeah. It was worth getting written up on auditors. So anyway, so this is setting up the escrow fund, being we the only political subdivision with the Morgana of the Gulf account. My finance department will be the holder of the escrow fund. And that's for extraordinary maintenance. If you have a levee slide, if every 10 years you have to dry dock the barge from the floodgate, or when you have financial obligations against anywhere in K&L.
Very clear though, if they had made the connection of that levy to our levy in gold and metal, we would have been full partners. Because we would have had our levy and had this levy in front of it, we would have had nothing to worry about on the west side at all. But they put it to the point that now, more than a benefit, actually to raise the water level a little bit at the intersection where that levee gets together. Now, we're gonna manage it, we'll do things about it, but the bottom line is, they could have gotten it out, and then we'd have been a full partner, because we would have had, our taxpayers would have had tremendous benefit.
So
Now, it's not.
although it's not part of the agreement in all the preliminary whereases, we set up a skeleton for the whole 98 miles. Basically, who is planning to do the O&M, the operation and maintenance. 70 of the 98 miles from Gibson to Bayou Pontchartrain to Parish Line. We, Terrebonne Levee District, is responsible for 100% of the O&M. K&L is the purposes of this agreement, which would be primarily the extraordinary fees, expenses shared between North Lafourche and Terrebonne. 6.5 miles of the 98 miles is actually the road to Golden Meadow between Cutoff and Delta Forms Road.
That's what everyone understands. So Morganza is basically cutting out the roads to Golden Meadow. We are south of the Morganza project. It's gonna go along our northern edge And that's something we're gonna have to look at the longer agreement on how we look and deal with that issue.
And then 11 miles is in North Lafourche's jurisdiction, and they're gonna be responsible for that O&M. The only thing I've left undetermined in this agreement is the future O&M, if and when we get funding from the feds to build the LaRose intercoastal floodgate. Probably, that has a benefit to all of us, so that, most likely that'll be split 3 ways. But God only knows when the feds will come in with some funds to build that $250 million floodgate. The only correction I saw, and I just pointed this out to your lawyer, on page 2, the third to last paragraph, it should say, whereas the O&M of the future Morganza Gulf ICWW, the word LaRose needs to be put in there, because there's actually 2 intercoastal floodgates, one in West Homer and one in LaRose, that will be eventually built. So the intention of that paragraph was for the LaRose floodgate, not the other one.
Mitch, anything else?
Whereas.
Probably could fit a few more whereases in there if y'all needed to.
All right. Well, again, we're gonna talk about it, when we get into the details and,
So my board has approved this subject to the legal approval of all 3 levee districts. So my lawyers approved it. The North Lafourche attorney sent me an email Friday, I think they've approved it. So now, once your executive committee approves it and you're gonna put it in final legal format, we're ready to execute it after. Because the state has requested we put this together before, and I think y'all would wanna do this, before you execute the
oh,
IGA
yeah, no,
for the,
no, absolutely.
for the 18.5 million plus the 7.7 million, whatever is coming from,
Yeah, so basically, the agreement we signed with the state is gonna give us those responsibilities. We're gonna mirror those responsibilities, Terrebonne and North Lafourche.
right.
The executive committee is gonna meet Wednesday to discuss this and approve it. So we gotta come back to our board, or do we have the authority?
No, this
That's-
motion gives
That's-
the executive committee the
I'm a little
right
slow,
to,
right.
they give you the right to sign any of the agreements we need to.
Okay, that's. You have to excuse me, gentlemen, I'm a little confused. Okay, anything else under that?
No, that's it. And then, amended budget for the year, basically, oh, not, you already voted?
Yeah.
Okay, no, we already voted, okay. The estimates were very close.
We just had a discussion. We just
Did
had
not.
a
No, no
discussion.
vote?
No, we had the discussion.
Okay,
at the end.
well, we need to have the vote on the executive committee and the giving you the right to sign.
Gentlemen, your wishes. Okay, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We've done it. Okay.
Again, amended budget, very close, not many changes. And we have some money we have available to spend, but I'm still waiting to get absolute clearance on that 5.1 million that's been sitting with the state for the last 6 or 7 years. And once I get that okay, it's gonna free up the money to do a couple other projects we've been kind of holding back on.
So according to this, you're adding about $1.5 million to the anticipated expenditures?
Yeah.
15.4 to 16.8.
Yeah, so we have a large future project that we can jump on once I'm sure what this 5 million becomes available to us. So I need
Okay,
the other
gentlemen,
approval in the budget.
you did present a copy of the amended budget as presented. Your wishes. Moved by Bob, second by Monty. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
All right, thank you, that's all I
Anything
have.
else? Any questions of our general manager? Please, no more questions. You're being polite.
Wait a minute, you don't think I need a question?
Okay, engineer report, CPRA, Daniel.
Yes, a brief update on the CPRA T78 project, which is Reach L. We have had a few photos on there of that project. Really, just on the schedule, it's been relatively dry, so embankment placement is going to go on better. So really, the schedule is still slated to finish the levee, fieldway construction, to finish the levee in July and demo in August sometime. So that's pretty soon. There are a few issues going on with that project. without getting into too many details, but the muck removal, like you referenced, yeah, we're still dealing with that. So, but Fieldway is,
Let
Yeah.
me ask you, I was a bit confused when you showed that the film was talking about multiple
Yeah.
use. Why did you require them to move that dirt? Was it
so
stable?
that muck came from an old drainage canal, and at the time, honestly, the heart of the issue is that, here, I'll say this. If you're gonna specify to excavate a canal of muck, you should probably investigate, see how much muck you think is in there. Because basically, there was an underestimation of the muck, a gross underestimation of the muck that was produced out of that canal, so, which is deemed unusable by the geotechnical engineers. So there became an issue of disposal. It's a lot, okay, and so it's a work item that was considered incidental. So it becomes, without getting too many details, a basic item.
Well,
As
as
it-
it did, the contract became a muck raker, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Something.
Yeah, basically, yes. It's a sorry joke, we're good.
Okay.
But anyway, he had to move it. Look, honestly, that's where he placed it, where Phil Williams placed it was the least costly. The method they were using was we asked him to give us an estimate on what it was going to cost. It was ridiculous. So we're like, no, I mean, I don't want to give you the crazy stuff that was going on with that placement. But anyway, it was, can we just dump it on the side where the mitigation project is going to go on? It was like, yeah, okay.
Just dump it over the levee.
Just dump it over the levee. So, sounds great, and now they are coming back Phil way saying, yes, one of the issues that is hindering our work on that slope, on the flood side slope, so, which is where it's placed, but then, Terrebonne and Frog Co. has been basically raking that stuff off and pulling it back, and like you saw in the picture, basically just forming up a little dike for the mitigation project. But, they're not satisfied completely, it's still ongoing, we can talk internally about that, but anyway, that's that detail. There's some other issues, but we're gonna leave it at that. The good thing is that it should be finished in July. Really demob in August, so.
What did you
But
get
Hang
Daniel-
out
around that, guys.
Daniel, let me ask you this. There was a little bit on that project, right?
Yeah, they were.
Now, the cost of the project now, is it higher than the highest bid?
No, but I mean, I'd definitely like to go back and look at it.
Please
It's
go
not
back
higher
and
than the
look at
highest
it.
bid, we had some high bids.
I went back and looked at it.
Yeah,
It sure looked like it.
but we had some, we had something way outside the mean, like a $20 million project.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I have to go look. Maybe
I saw a $9 million.
Yeah,
That's
one of
always
the
the
pretty close.
highest.
Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely a little bitter, but that's how it goes, man. That's it.
Dan, you got that?
That's it. Thanks.
Okay, any questions, Daniel? Okay, project engineer, Ben, Associates?
Mark PCO Associates. The first project is LA1 elevation and realignment at the Lee, Ontario locks. Byron Talbot is the contractor. They have continued placing roadway base course, completed routing the H piles and sheet piles below the gate base foundation. Last week, they poured the concrete for the gate foundation and will continue pouring concrete over the next few weeks. The contractor has submitted pay application number 5 in the amount of $362,162.08, and we recommend payment.
Okay, you've read the recommendation of our engineers to pay payment number 5 to Byron Galvez in the amount of $362,162.08. Your wish, paid by Max, second by Monty. All in favor, signify by, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Alright, the next project is levee section east-south excavation along the Bar Canal. Southern Delta Construction is the contractor. The contractor is continuing to dredge and estimates the project will be completed by the end of July. The contractor has submitted pay application number 5 in the amount of $89,429.67, and we recommend payment.
Okay, based on the recommendation of engineers, to pay Southern Delta, their request number 5 in the amount of $89,429.67. Mitch moves, Max, Bob seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
LaRose floodgate improvement phase 4, interim improvements to the steel parapet wall. Sea Level Construction is the contractor. The project is completed in the wind period. And LaRose floodgate improvement phase 5, steel A-frame wall and concrete eye wall. Sea Level Construction is the contractor. The pre-construction meeting was held on May 23rd, and the conditional notice to proceed was issued on June 3rd.
Any questions, gentlemen? Thank you, Mark. GIS engineer, John.
Okay, we've had a couple projects on Lafourche water level control. Wonder if you actually signed that permit? Okay. So we still, DNR is in the final stages for that, but we also trying to get together with the Corps so that that transition is smooth.
But I'm ready, I thought it was just a draft. This should be a, it's a draft permit.
The draft permit.
Okay, I got the permit.
Okay, right. So you haven't seen, gotten the final permit yet?
Right.
Okay. So that should be coming.
So that's since 2010, I think we applied for that permit.
That sounds about right. I think it's a couple of years before that.
And we have not changed our position on that at all, and now it's accepted.
Well, actually, we've made some compromises on it, but yeah.
Well, reason, yeah.
Right. Okay, the pump station number 4 upgrades, that's the crane project that y'all just approved, buying the crane for. So hopefully that'll come in a couple of months and we'll be through with that.
Excuse me, I'm trying to find Neil's report. I can follow along. Don't continue, I'm sorry.
I'm finished, I'm waiting to see if y'all have any questions.
Okay. Any questions, John? Thank you, John. Okay. How's that facility, Neil?
All right, on the V-Dock and V-South project, this is from the Basin Pump Station to the Golden Meadow Park. That contract, the Pontchartrain Partners, is wrapping up construction. He should be done with everything in the next 2 months and out of there. We'll be watching closely, of course, as he gets out with hurricane season, and they'll probably want to do a little bit of degrading of the levee to get over again with the borders, so we'll be watching that close. He does have his pay request number 25 that we're recommending today for $187,126.78.
Okay, the recommendation of engineers, state Pontchartrain Partners, pay up request number 25, in the amount of $187,126.76. Your wish, Mitch moves, Max second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
When they go over, they go back in the same area?
Same spot.
Same spot.
Yeah, same spot.
At what point do you think that's gonna be the date?
Probably gonna be
Middle of the
August
hurricane?
30th.
Probably September 10th.
Middle of hurricane. So you expect to get phone calls.
I mean, why you go back in the same area? It's easier because it's just,
Well, it was just the best place to go
It's
in.
the best place to
get
get
out. They go back.
for the outside. For the outside.
Yeah.
we'll get some calls, red calls the last time.
Yeah, and that's fine. But compared to the old way, we actually cut through the levee, cutting through and floating through the levee.
I
That
think
was
anywhere else
old.
getting messed up, marsh mitigation also, you spend money doing it. Here you got water.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, the next project is Sea-South. This is from the Basin Pump Station all the way down to Apache. I'm sorry, from Apache Farm down to Basin Pump Station. This is north of the previous project. That contractor, RLB, is wrapping things up. They should be done in the next 2 months also. I did have a good discussion with the contractor last week about liquidated damages. I let him know that he's probably about 180 days at $1,000 a day. I sent him that same summary window that I sent you, and the email I got back from him was, I agree. So he said he agrees with me. He's probably facing close to $180,000 of liquidated damage.
Can we take credit on this payment
So,
here?
no, and this payment is a little high because he didn't turn in a pay request last month. But I sent Wendell a good summary of where we are with the
Yeah,
account.
and we knew that the amount of liquid damage,
Yeah.
so Neil and really staying in touch, staying ahead of it, making sure we didn't overpay, make sure if it went to the worst part, we had to retain it to take care of it. And Neil, now we're getting to the end, here's the hard numbers, and the guy didn't argue, but Yeah, without too much longer, they would leave 4 or 5 days at a time.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense what they were doing, but I guess he got his work plan and he
doing
figures
work.
liquidated
They were
damages.
doing work in other areas.
Yeah, exactly.
So they do have a bid request on the 20 for $485,361.94, and recommend approval of that.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation, to pay RLB contractors, pay request number 20, in the amount of $485,361.64. No wishes, Keith, please. Roll, any discussion? Okay, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, Morganton to the Gulf Retail, this is from Grand Body all the way to the west side of the Apache Forum where the CPRA project is leaving off. We're finalizing our plans and specs right now to meet with Wendell and Mitch later this month to begin advertising on the project once we have state approval.
Any questions, Neil? Okay, next we have Delta Coast Consultants. Mitch?
Real quick on the mitigation project, working with James right now, we're getting low on funding. We've got about 65% complete to date.
You're talking about the terraces.
Terraces, yes.
The reserves.
So he and I are looking at budgets right now, coming up with a game plan for the rest of this effort and how we're gonna accomplish it. So
What percentage you said we have?
maybe 65, yeah. Very poor material, very poor performance in that area, so, we'll let you guys know what we come up with and how we intend to pay for it in the next month. Other thing is, Stevie has an engineering amendment. I had him add, the inspection for his mitigation project in there, as well as construction administration. I have not had a chance to go through the inspection days, the construction administration dials I was good with, so I just asked that you pass that, pending my review, to not exceed the amount that's already authorized for that, okay?
You need I'll wait.
No, Steve's gonna go through some, one of the next items.
That's the next item.
Yeah.
Passing the buck.
It has nothing to do with muck.
No
No
bucks,
muck
no bucks involved. Hey,
No,
that's-
no, but passing the buck. No buck, just the buck.
It is passing the
It's
buck.
passing the buck. ladies and gentlemen.
He's absolutely passing the buck.
Okay,
It's a cluster
any
buck.
questions of Mitch?
It's a cluster buck.
Okay, all South Consultants. Steve?
Okay, so I've got 2 projects to report on, Mr. Chairman. The first of them is the Reach K and Lafourche project is complete. It's in the clear lean period. That's the big job that Weeks has done for now, so that job is done. The only thing that's happening with that job is the same marsh buggy that was dealing with the muck on Reach L is gonna be moved from Reach L, from the Apache Farm area, over to Reach K this week, right, Mitch? One day, Wednesday.
Assuming we're all complete with everything out there, we're ready now.
Yeah, so we're gonna put that over on Reach K, because the stuff on Reach K is not shaped at all, right? It's just a pile of, it's just not even bucket dress, right? They just threw the stuff up and Weeks left. So the marsh bug is gonna spend some time over there, at least kind of playing with that and making sure it drains right. I mean, not really, it's not gonna look like 11, but we're gonna spend whatever time we got over there with our cost savings, kind of making that drain right, okay? So, but that doesn't have anything to do with Reach, that's gonna be done on a day-to-day contract, so, and it's coming straight through terrible, you're not even paying for that, so.
It's actually coming from the state.
It's coming from the state.
It's our contract, but they're reimbursing us.
How many lessons if you're not paying for it?
The next project is.
Passing the buck.
Yeah, you can pass the buck if we had any to pass.
So the next project before this thing deteriorates any further, Mr. Chairman, is the marsh creation project. There's a 40-acre marsh creation area that we've got to build just south of the Apache Levee. We've been talking about it for a couple of years now. That project is finally out for bid. We had a pre-bid meeting here at your offices on June 5th. I'm looking for my notes. On June 5th, we had, frankly, we had the usual folks that do marsh creation projects here at the pre-bid, which is a good sign. 4 or 5 of the folks that do this kind of work were here. The bid opening is scheduled for June 18th, so in another week we'll get the bid opening for that project. We do expect some pretty competitive bids because of the folks that we're hearing, truthfully, because the job is pretty straightforward. Assuming we get good bids, we'll bring it, I guess we'll bring it to the board at your July meeting for award of the contract. Okay?
So, but July, when do we think that we get on site and actually start pumping? First they have to do containment, but the pumping would come in when?
Again, so let's just work through the dates. Let's say you award this in the middle of July, your board meets in the middle of July roughly. Then it takes about usually 30 days to get contracts in place, so that puts us in August. They start building dikes, say the middle of August, probably 20 to 30 days of dike construction. So you're talking about September. First week of September, you start building operations, would be my guess. And certainly finish with that before the end of the year. And it's kind of a schedule.
Because I mean, it dries up, so that area actually gets dry with the north when you have to. I'm just curious if it's better to do hydraulic dredging when it's dry or when it's wet. It seems like with the street itself, maybe a little bit better if it was wet.
Yeah. Well, again,
I'm just curious, you know. I guess what you guys will tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we can adjust that schedule very much. I mean, that schedule's kind of, we got already that in motion.
I'm just curious, should be a difference, you know, not going into water, so if we get some water floods. All right.
Steve, I'd rather see us enjoying making jokes and making light as long as we're conducting our business rather than being in each other's throats. What the whole meeting, we're gonna be done with business. Okay, after Laura.
Amendment 1. Amendment 1. We didn't vote on it.
Amendment. That's right, Steve.
The amendment.
Amendment.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I shouldn't have that. We do have the request, Mitch actually referred to it, I apologize. We have a request from the engineering amendment to do construction, administration, and inspection of the marsh creation job, Mr. Chairman. So that is on the agenda, request from amendment. Amendment number 1 for engineering contract in the amount not to exceed $61,000. I apologize with Mitch's reference to it, thought it didn't handle. So that is a request for board action, amendment on engineering.
Not to exceed $61,000 of engineering amendment.
That's
Who's the beneficiary of that amendment?
Well, the way I look at it,
No,
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
not
the
reflecting.
board really benefits from us.
I couldn't miss that.
Hopefully the public.
See,
Mitch,
Oh, you saw how fast,
Mitch.
saw how fast Mitch pointed?
But Mitch has the buck, and Stevie said the buck stops here. Mitch has the buck, and Stevie gets the dope.
Look, it's my job to approve it, I'm just telling you it's over $61,000.
Engineering contract and not to exceed $61,000. Your wish. Moved by Mitch, second by Monty, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, next, Laura Afton.
All right, an update on Grapevine flood control structure. The DNR permit extension has been granted, and so we have submitted the structure modification, just coordinating with the agencies on getting that through. We are finalizing the geotech coordination, so the CPRA responses should wrap that up by the end of June. And then, based on CPRA's schedule for execution of the IGA, they believe it should be fully executed by August 10th, which means at that point we should be able to go out for bid.
That seemed like a question on the permit about the size of the bulge. Did you see that this morning?
The letter, yeah, they're trying to get the footprint of what was originally there, the sector gate.
They were talking about
and they just
300
want us
foot
to
compared
put
to
our-
400 feet.
Yeah, they want us to put our alignment of the porch gate on top of
You
that, so
see any
we're working
problem
on
with
that.
I don't.
Talking about reducing from 400 to 300.
I didn't
Increase.
study it this morning, actually, so we're gonna meet on that tomorrow.
But that's what you'll be looking at.
Yes.
Okay, any questions, Laura? I assume you finished. Okay, any questions, Laura? Thank you. Moving on to legal permits and license waive. Mitch?
Okay, we have a total of 3 permits this month. The first one is the Allen Company, Gold Medal LLC. The second one is the Greater Lafourche Commission. And the third one is Texas Petroleum Investment Company. I'm reviewing these 3, looking the board to approve these.
Okay, motion by the committee chairman, Mitch, to approve these, second by Monty. Any discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay. Mr. Attorney, Finance Committee, Monty.
Hey, Mr. President, the Finance Committee met before the meeting and reviewed all invoices, and that's our recommendation with paying all invoices as presented.
Okay, Finance Committee recommended we take the motion by the chairman, Monty, and second discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Insurance Committee, Norm.
Yes, every year by this time, we gotta fork up some money to buy some insurance. So this year is not different. We got some good news and bad news. The good news is on workman's comp, we got a break of $6,861. And on our commercial inland and property, a rise of $29,839.27. We had 3 new vehicles, we had 2 new excavators we bought, and we have to pay on a rental bulldozer by insurance. Also, due to some of that rise, is that the company that used to sell us insurance in Louisiana is no longer selling insurance in Louisiana. So we had to go out of state to get coverage, so that also added to the rise of 29,000. However, we're still hoping we can get a break along the way. We still have a few loose ends before the policy is due, but we have to approve these policies at this meeting. So I'll move
You
it.
recommend that we approve the policies as such. Moved by Roland, seconded by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Any new business? We need a motion. Moved by Mitch, seconded by Matt. On it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.